Welcome to Champion Minded, the podcast for those who aim for excellence, not only in the sports arena, but in life. My name is Allistair, author, speaker, mindset and performance coach, and my goal is to help you unleash your unlimited potential and provide you with the tools to achieve greatness. Are you ready to become champion minded? Then let's do this. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Champion Minded podcast. I'm Allistair McCaw. In today's episode, I'll be speaking to someone that needs little introduction, especially when it comes to tennis and coaching. My guest today on What It Takes is Emilio Sanchez. Emilio is a former world number 1 doubles tennis player and was also number 7 on the singles ranking list. He won 5 Grand Slam doubles titles and a silver medal at the 1988 Olympic Games. He played most of his career with Sergio Casel, who in fact he is in partnership at the academy in Barcelona, the Sanchez Casel Academy. They also have one here in Florida in Naples. It's one of the most successful academies in the world. In fact, he was one of the first when it came to European tennis academies. Now, I was able to sit down with Emilio a few weeks ago when we were both speaking at a conference in Covington, Louisiana, and I wanted to ask the legend of the sport, and before I forget, he was also the Davis Cup captain of Spain when they won the title as well. What differences he sees in coaching today to say 20 to 25 years ago. Also, what he sees in a great coach, the keys to success in him running a successful academy or club. So if you're a club director or academy director, this will be a great listen for you as well, and so much more. It was really, really good to get into this conversation with Emilio. Also, we discussed about Spanish identity in tennis as well. Of course, over the last 15 or 20 years, we've been spoiled with such great tennis players such as Rafael Nadal, Juan Carlos Ferrero, Fernando Verdasco, so many great Spanish players. But my question I asked him was, has Spanish tennis lost its identity because of now a different type of player coming through like Carlos Alcaraz or Baptista Good? They're completely different Spanish tennis players to what they were, say, 20 years ago. So it was good to get into this conversation with Emilio. Before I forget, guys, my new book, Lead with Purpose, Make an Impact, comes out on the 25th of November 2021. It will be available on Amazon. If you love coaching, if you love leadership, you will love this book. I know Christmas is coming up very, very soon as well, so check that out. Lead with Purpose, Make an Impact. That'll be available on Amazon on the 25th of November 2021. So enough from me. Let's get into this one. This is Emilio Sanchez. So Emilio, here we are in Covington, Louisiana. How are you?
After the bridge.
Yeah.
The long bridge.
I tell you, that drive, I didn't think it would end. The bridge, I think that bridge over between New Orleans and Covington is 20 miles. Did I get that right?
Yeah. But it's like the longest 20 miles. You think this thing is gonna eat me around me, you know, like.
Well, here's the thing. I got in late at like 10:30, 11 the other night, and I seriously thought we were maybe 20 minutes away from the location, from the hotel, and I got in this Uber, which at first it was $198, and I thought, my goodness, we're like driving to another state.
Yeah.
And it was late at night. And we go on this bridge, there's water on either side, and I don't know if you noticed, the wall on each side is like a meter, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, if this car goes over, I'm not making... So I was strategizing, you know, but amazing to get you at a conference. I've listened to you before, always a lot of knowledge, experience, information. You were the Davis Cup captain of Spain. You were a former world number 1 doubles, number 7 in singles.
Correct. Good memory.
Yes, of course. I mean, you were someone that I definitely watched growing up as well. But what I really wanted to get in today is to pick your brain. You have been around the best players in the world for a long time, 80s, 90s, now into the 2000s. You've seen this transition. But what do you see in the great coaches, and what do you feel has changed between a coach today, if anything, and a coach of, let's say, 20 years ago?
Well, I always put the example that the tennis was pioneer on coaching, let's say on one-to-one coaching. So in tennis, the first ones was Bergering with Borg and Tiriac with Vilas. Those were like the really first ones who will travel to maximize the potential of the player, no? And so the number two or the two top in the world, they had a coach. So slowly the three and the fourth, and there was always someone that will help you, like corners with Segura or some people that they were like, they were not coaches, but they were like references, like mirrors,
mentors,
yeah, in some way, no. And that I think that create like an example. And if I see today most of the people that they have coaches that make a difference, you always see that essence of the original coach, that there is this mentorship and this
DNA.
Yeah, mirror, no. And if that's what I love the most about the coaches who make an impact, is that they create this way of doing, no, this kind of like identity of how to make a difference on this person to be the best that they can be, no? And I think that Spanish tennis which is being an example, and I am being a promoter of Spanish tennis and Spanish methodology and Spanish identity. The strongest asset that it has is that most of the Spanish players, they live for the tennis, and they breathe tennis, and then they talk tennis, and they stay in tennis when they finish playing. So that's why we have so many academies and coaches and people in clubs that making a difference, because they are like they are tennis.
Steve, in the culture, it's in your roots.
Cultural, cultural thing.
I want to. I'm glad you went on to that. I want to challenge you there with regard to something, and this is why I'm excited to get you in person, which is special. Just for the listeners out there, there might be a bit of noise in the background because we're at a conference here. There's people coming in and out. So even though someone might ask Emilio a question, but I want to challenge you here about something, because Spanish tennis in the 90s, especially maybe early 2000s, had an identity. You know, we look at players like Correia, Ferrero, Juan Carlos Ferrero. They played a certain type of tennis where you could argue that today they would struggle with. You know, they stayed behind the baseline a lot. There was those long rallies. You know, I mean, not just Spanish, but, you know, Mats Wilander played that type of game as well, 3 meters behind the baseline in that. Now we have an exciting era of very different type of Spanish players. We have Carlos Alcaraz coming through, which is like the most un-Spanish, if we want to say, style of play. Batista Gut, Busta Carrena, different players. Do you find that Spanish tennis is losing an identity that it had 20 years ago, in a way?
I don't believe that the style of play makes the identity. I think that all of those players that you mentioned, that what they have is that they have so much time in between shots that they are able to play with their style. So, but the way of moving of Alcaraz, when he moves from one shot to the other, he's making the same steps that in one day Juan Carlos or whoever else was doing, because he's creating the space and turning the body in a way that is able to go a bit more, to be able to be more aggressive. But that why they become more aggressive as well, because they have to adapt to the time, and everybody plays so fast and so straight that there is not. If we divide the let's say the grand stroke area in pieces, so Wilander and these guys, they were playing more on the defense, really defense behind the baseline. Today, 80% of the players play in close to the line in counter attack. So it's not like offensive, because they are not really offensive, but they are counter attacking every ball very hard. So the counter attack becomes an attack today, and there is very few players who go inside the court to attack. And then the ones that they manage to do that, and then they are managing to have more initiative, to open more the court, and to control more the pace of the game. When they can do it, that normally is with their serve, because everybody serves so well that it's so difficult to take away that initiative from the server. So what excel a lot is the management of that initiative. That becomes a huge challenge. And but these players, if you see Alcaraz and Bautista and Carreño and all that, they have what I just mentioned. They had this maximize their potential thanks to working hard, to being at the club, to learn, to practice more than the others, to be stronger than the others. They are very physically almost machines, and the physicality and the mental commitment allows them to use their skills and to do the tactic that they want to do in every moment. Obviously, if you have the Alcaraz forehand, and then you're going to attack a bit more than if you have it not so strong, no? Yeah. But I see a lot of similarities on the way that they live. Like Correcha was like a super structure, like the rackets are perfect, like we were making fun of him, like we'll go to his back and move his rackets around and he'll get great, you know, like, but super professional, super incredible physicality, great mind. And most of the Spanish players, they come on that way. So I don't think that they lose that essence, even if at this moment we went down in a number of players that we produce in some way, because we have a couple generations of that we didn't produce as many players. But for 30 years, Spain was absolutely number one top 100 producer players in the world.
Yeah.
So that's like a cultural thing, you know, that stays.
Now we see your neighbors, Italy, obviously coming through in the last few years with, I mean, astonishing the amount of players they're bringing out. I mean, Sinner, Berrettini, Sonego. I mean, the list goes on. I think there's 6, 7 maybe in the top 100. I don't know the exact number, but what, in your opinion, is Italian tennis doing right now? Like, all of a sudden have this resurgence.
Yeah, I think that there was a mix of things. First of all, the federation took the control of the teaching in the full country, and they I think Michelangelo, which is the head, the leader, make a very structured way of involving all the coaches in every club of the country.
Do you think that's been one of the keys?
That's an important one because they put together concepts. And they can be wrong or not, but when you put together concepts and you create kind of like a methodology, and you make every coach go to do training every 2 years, it's gonna evolve, it's gonna improve, it's gonna get better, and they also find a way that the federation decentralize the training. So in the past, Italy always brought the players to the national center and take them away from the coaches. Here they involve all the coaches around and decentralize. So if a player like Berrettini is working with Vincenzo Santopadre, which was a top 150, top 100 player in the world, they don't take away from him to take it to the federation, but they keep him together and they help them. And they are in the place. What they do is they create like centers of resources to be able to, the players can go to do the training, and they bring experts from international experts in the physical, in the mental, to be able to help these coaches in the different places, and make them more modern in some way. So they put a lot of resources towards coaching and helping the players. And they try to also in some way involve in the development pyramid of the high performance. All these guys who were 200, 300, 400 in the world, they are coaching because they get help.
More of a support system.
Yeah.
So would you say that old framework of everyone has to be in the same place, which some federations have failed with, is saying, like, if you want to be part of us, you have to be here.
Yeah.
And they've found that, well, maybe Italian tennis has learned that as well, is that, one of the big areas is a player is unhappy when they're away from home. And they're, enough of the time, 35 weeks they're on the road. Now they have to be positioned at another city, for example, away from home again. And that was making the players unhappy.
Yeah. And that's also emotional investment from the player on time, on is making him unhappy in some way. But also, if we see it on the tennis side, that national center, if you put all the resources there, you think, oh, the level is gonna be the top. But normally, what happens in those centers is that the players are playing all the time between them, so they don't take advantage of the other places. And the example is a guy like Rafa. A guy like Rafa, he's from a city of 2,000 people. There's one tennis court in his town, little town. So he has to travel where the level is a lot. So he had to travel more because he couldn't train with no one there.
Yep.
But he in some way this connection with the level, when he looking the level in the tournaments, but he had to go back home. He couldn't practice as much on that, but then he focusing on other things. So I think where you play is very important. But if you and this, for example, in China, they fail a lot because they put these provincial teams together with very high level players in that team, but they, instead of improving and growing, they go down because they lacking of mirrors, external mirrors. So when we go to a tournament and you go with your player, you practice with me. If I do something that impress you, you're gonna put it on your thing with your player, and me the same. Oh, they doing that stretching and so I'm gonna do it also, and then you improve and I improve because we are in the level. We are looking to improve.
To improve.
Yeah.
You've developed a lot of players. You run an academy in Naples, of course, and of course you're one in Barcelona. So you've seen a lot of players come through the junior ranks. You've seen the Andy Murrays, you've seen the Svetlana Kuznetsovas. I think Grigor spent some time there as well. Maybe I'm missing a few other. Of course, there's many others, but those are, say, the 3 or 4. Let me ask you this: a player comes to you, comes to the academy at 13. Okay, they're good. Of course, there has to be a very high competence level. They're high up in their age group. But what have you seen where you know? I know there's no guarantee, but that kid's going to be good. What are the traits that you've seen?
It's difficult to say because unfortunately the development of a player, people think, oh, I'm gonna go to Sanchez and I'm gonna become good. Magic
wand, yes.
Yeah, and I remember when I started, this lady from Italy came to Barcelona. And after 6 months, the kid said, "You failing?" I said, "I thought that I went to a good place." I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "No, because he don't have ATP points." I said, "Yeah, but..." And I asked her, "What is your profession?" She was an architect. And I say, "Okay, so you become an architect in 6 months?" No. So the people don't have the patience.
Expectations.
The expectations are here because you can warm up with Federer and you pass balls. Yeah. You can pass balls, but then how you become him?
Yep.
And it takes you 8, 10, 12 years, and that patience the people don't have. So, but when you see one of these special kids, that it can be.
I mean, did you see in Andy at that age? Did you know this kid's going to be good?
Well, if you see him, like, you see how he walks now, no?
Yeah.
So, but if you see him when he was 14, walking to play with me, with his mom. And his mom, no, he's really gifted and talented. And then you see him walking with the head down, with those legs like that, and
low energy.
Yeah, and then you say, oh, this kid is not, he doesn't have the potential. It is not good. But then you play with him, and then he puts the head up, and then you push him, and he comes out with incredible things. You let him play, and then he pushes you, and then he's one of the best counter punchers ever. So then you really attack him and so, and he comes out with those little shots and so, and then you see he has potential. But he has potential because he has answers. He has resources. He has ways to do.
Game IQ.
Yeah, and I think that is what impresses me the most, is that independently if they already grown or not, that they have that those things that make a difference, no, and they touch the ball and they just put it on the right spot, no, the other things that normally they're gonna come, even if at the end will depend on that full package, with especially with how they control their emotions. And look at Andy, for example. He's a roller coaster of emotion when he plays. You can feel that.
Yeah.
But roller coasters with a maximum control, because he gets and yells and his mind is exploding. The next point he makes you or an ace, or he makes you an incredible point. So and that is the management that he has, and he's one of the ones that it gets more emotional both ways, you know. But and I always see that the guys who have those resources, they manage to fulfill the potential, because potential at the end is something that you never achieve.
Exactly.
It's something that you can achieve.
Potential is expectation. I mean,
expectation. Yeah. So at the end is like when they start to make the steps, is when the potential starts to pass to reality, and that's what these guys become good at.
You were world number 1 in doubles with Sergio Casal. Do you find that the doubles game has evolved, got better over the years, or would you say not really, because maybe the technology's made it faster?
Well, I'm really impressed about the way that they play doubles today. And the other day I was talking to one of the top players, and I said, "Why do you guys stay in the middle of the court?" I say, "What?" And he was telling me, "No, the people serve so well that if you go on the normal place in the middle of the square, you don't have time either to poach and you don't need to be there, because it's better that you are in the middle bothering the other one, because he's not gonna be able to play like before to the allies." And I was thinking, I don't know, if I will play with, in our time that when we were playing, and with McEnroe or Krieg or Villander, so you could not leave so many spaces open, because the ball was going there, no? And but with the speed of the game today, probably is something that it works for them, and they can do. But for me, it's like if I will stand there to Lendl or to Krieg or something, I end up with a hole here, or they pass me down the line. So like it was a completely different way of play. But they are so good at the net and so fast that we were not. But things go on.
Things evolve, just like any sport.
Yeah.
You were in the era of Flax Seguso. There were so many good doubles teams back there as well. I mean, it was just. I loved watching doubles back then even.
Yeah, it was a different, because almost everybody in the singles was playing doubles. Even Flax Seguso, and Seguso was like a biggest talent you ever seen. He was 16, 15 in the world, and Flax also. So it was like players that they had that incredible skills to be able to be up, even if they were the first.
Well, look at you. I mean, you were 7 in the world in singles, and
Sergio was 30,
and 1 in the world in doubles. So
I always say that I was 1 in the world in doubles, because the 6 ahead of me were not playing doubles so consistently. Because
a good way to see it.
I always believe on the tennis as an all. And what you have, and what are your strengths and your weaknesses, and those guys ahead of me, which sometimes I will beat in singles, but if I play with Agassi, I beat him once, he beat me 5, and I beat him the day that he's not so good, and I have to be really good.
Well, his bad day was still good, so
yeah, but I always thought that for example, in one incredible is that the first Olympic in Seoul, we won the silver. We lost to Flax Seguso, 12-10 in the 5th set. So, and then we go to Barcelona, and then in those first 2 Olympics, the doubles, they were because the people was coming into the tournaments was only singles players. So the seeding for the doubles was done through doubles. So, but they were not double players. So in our bracket in Barcelona, we had Noah Forgier, we had Sampras Courier, we had Becker Stitch, was us there, that we were also very singles.
So top 10 singles guys.
So we beat Sampras Courier, we beat the Brazilians, and then in the quarters to win for the medal, we play with Becker Stitch. We lost in 5 sets. Also, we were up 2-1, and then they won later on easy the tournament. But on the other side was almost no one. So because the seeding was normally the seeding, what it does is that it splits the good people around the draw. But because it was not done properly at the time,
yeah, they were already stacked on your side.
Yeah, and I was so unlucky because for us it was huge moment.
Still, I mean, an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
I know you have to present today, and I know all the attendees are super excited about it. But I have 2 more questions for you. First one is, what in your mind makes a great coach? And I don't want to talk just about on the professional tour. I want to talk about a development coach, because most coaches that are going to be listening to this right now are working with teenagers, maybe that are maybe ITF or want to play a higher level. First of all, that's the first question of what do you feel makes a good development coach, because they're still in that development stage. And then second of all, the key to success of an academy, because I know there'll be academy here, not just in tennis, but generally in clubs and academies. So the first question, a good development coach.
Well, first of all, he needs to know the skills. So it's and the skills, you don't have to be close to players who have different types of skills. So you can have a player who plays Eastern and a player who plays Western. And then I think a good coach is to maximize the potential of the players at that stage, independently of how they hit the ball. Okay, so the skills are important. How you order the skills, how you maximize the strengths and improve the weaknesses. So because the strengths is always what is going to make you win the matches. Then has to have an idea of how to make the player work on the physical pillar, to be able that is the most advanced pillar that in the last 20 years how much improve. So you have to find a way that the player is able to last doing what he does well for the maximum amount of time. And so you have to be with people that knows how to arrive to that, because normally you can do it like we were doing it only with the tennis in our time, and you can be physically very good, but today you need to really be surrounded by a team of people that arrives to maximize that physical pillar that is automatically attached hand by hand, and look your transition to the mental pillar that gives you the quality and the quality to the quantity, because the quantity is how long you can do it, the quality is how well you can do it on the difficult moments, because tennis is a sport of adapting and of losers, because you even when you are at top, you lose so many points to at the end win a match in a couple points. So and
fine margin.
And there is where you have to be all the time, because as a good coach, you have to know exactly those 2 points, because at the moment that you don't know those 2 points that make a difference, and you are maybe looking at your phone or something and you don't see it, and then you're losing the edge with the player, because the player feels that those 2 points he knows. So you cannot go to a good player and talk bullshit. And maybe you can come out in 1 or 2 matches, but at the end you don't see the match like him, and then you are going to lose that.
You've missed
that match.
that opportunity. And then our final question, your academy has been around a long time, probably one of the first academies as well that really established as with a school, etc.
In Europe for sure.
In Europe, What's been the key to that longevity?
Well, the key has been the people, and the people is the people who think like you, like they have the same philosophy, that they have the same identity and the same way of doing and the same type of work. So they buy the system that you try to implement, and they all follow it. And for us it was easy because we have this culture of this system, and when you see a Spanish players play, you say, oh, that player is from Spain, the way to move. So that we all have it on the essence. So for us it was easy to talk about the Spanish system because we all had it. So and when you put people on the same spot, that they all have that same way of doing, and then it's easier to talk about a system and about an identity. And but at the end is the drive from these people and how much they love what they do and the passion that they have and how much they persevere and how many hours they put and I always try to make the coaching job better. And like when we started in Spain, no one was official. They were paying all down the table. They didn't have insurance. They didn't have medical. They didn't have nothing. So I admire so much the work that my coaches do, being so many hours on the court with the players and try to impact the players. So I wanted to put the profession at a higher level, and the people to be safe and have insurance and have everything, because the tennis coach job is tough, and the physical coach job is tough. It's competitive, but it's demanding, and it's demanding because you need to perform the same in the first lesson in the morning or the first group or the last group that you hate. And then a group of kids come that you hate, you need to perform the same as the one that you love. So because you need to love to make a difference on that people that you hate. And when you make that change to that people that you hate, and that means that you are a good coach. And because that means that you're making change all the different people, no? So I believe that our success has been always the drive from that people, but it's not only the coaches, is the person who is in the bar who serves you the coffee, or the person who welcomes you in the morning, because if they don't have that same identity, and then you are not the best academy in the world, because it cannot be that you give the best lesson and then you take the shitty coffee, or the locker room is dirty, or like you have to try to arrive all at the same level. When you go to a top hotel, everything is good. When you go to a hotel, and everything is not good,
Guys, side note, we're just staying in a hotel. Let's just say that we won't go back to. So, right?
Yeah, but it has. That's the identity at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
And the identity, and when these great coaches on this, I always admire the soccer coaches or the football coaches here in America. 80 players. How you make them think the same way, you know? So even the soccer coaches, 22 players, only half play.
How do you have relationships with each player?
Yeah, but when we, for example, one of the things that when you create that energy that you talk so much about, and everybody has that energy, and even the people who clicks the ticket, and the people who goes here and there, and it's like all this energy goes to the team, and they achieve things that energy makes achieve things that you never dreamed that you will achieve with the level that you have. But that energy elevates you to a different state.
No, you're speaking my language when it comes to culture and mention, also just listening to you didn't mention one thing about strategy and methodology. Yes, they're important, you have an identity, etc., but you spoke there about people. You spoke there about the importance of your cafeteria, the person at your front desk, those are the members. I mean, I've been to your academy, spent some time there with some players, and I've experienced it as well, obviously before we knew each other a little bit better, and I can say that I experienced that, and I would recommend people to go back there. And if there's anyone listening here, if you've got kids that want to play the game and you want to go to an academy, there's one in Naples and one in Barcelona as well, two great places. But I've experienced it myself.
Thank you.
Of the warmth, the hard work. It's easy to see why there was results as well, is because
there was a moment when I opened in here in the US, and I brought one of my coaches from Barcelona. I was 10 years in Barcelona. I brought him here, and we were talking of what we needed really to make a difference here in Naples, and he's the one who opened my eyes and said, we need to imprint the identity, because I moved from Mexico to there because I was impacted by what we're talking, like this culture of everybody pushing on the same way, and then I realized about that, and then I start to talk to all the players, like, Andy, what do you remember? This question, what do you remember about your stay here? What you took from you? And he talks about hard work and respect and discipline. Or what Rigo remembers, when I kick him out because he was misbehaving. You know, like those situations are the ones that they stay on the people that at the end create this identity, and then that's why we promote respect, we promote discipline, and at the end those are the basic values that if you have potential, they're gonna make you succeed.
And that's not just in sports. That's in business.
Everything.
That's in life. Yeah, that's
in everything.
Yeah.
That's what a parent I want from my kids. I don't care if they win or not. Of course, I like that being the cap at home, but if like my kid was now traveling to Europe, we played 2 months ITFs, and every person who talked to me, they tell me how good this kid is, how well he behaved, how respectful. For me, I'm the proudest dad in the world, even if he loses some matches 6-1, 6-1. Of course, I want him to win points and go up in the rankings, but I think that's the dream from anybody. Me as a worker, I want that my workers who work with me make a difference with their people, and they make an impact, and then everything evolves towards the success, you know, in some way. Yeah. So.
Emilio, it's been an honor, obviously, to get you in person. Huh? Not just.
So much.
I thought, if I could get Emilio on the podcast, it'd be great. But I didn't imagine I'd be actually sitting in the same room with you. So thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for all your wisdom, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to you. You're doing amazing and changing so many people through tennis in other fields, and that's what I love the most. Like use the tennis things, values, concepts, and everything towards improving on the live matches. I think that's very powerful, and tennis is my love, and I love the people that uses tennis to make a difference in others.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So there you have it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this one with Emilio Sanchez. As always, if you enjoyed this show, please share it with someone you know who could benefit from it. This podcast is available on iTunes, YouTube, Amazon Podcasts, and via my website, AllistairMcCaw.com. Connect with me on social media. I'm on Twitter @AllistairMcCaw, Facebook Allistair McCaw page, and on Instagram, Be Champion Minded. So until next time, remember you were made for greatness. Now go do the work. Stay champion minded.